When Dakota Johnson was associated with the character Anastasia Steele in the hit series 50 Shades, the public saw a sexy, brave woman who was willing to challenge artistic boundaries. But behind the daring scenes and dramatic relationship with Christian Grey, played by Jamie Dornan, was a journey full of hurt, suffering and silent sacrifice. The pressure from the image of a sex goddess that she never wanted. From a budding actress, Dakota was suddenly caught up in the media vortex, where all eyes were focused on her body and hot scenes. Even though she is the daughter of two famous stars, Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith, Dakota was not exempt from the harsh judgment of public opinion. "I don't regret taking the role, but I also never want to do it again," she once frankly shared in an interview. No one mentioned Dakota's acting ability, just the same questions over and over. Was that scene real? Were you embarrassed doing that? Or worse, scrutiny of your body, emotions, personal life. Jamie Dornan. Not painful, but not comforting either. There were rumors that Dakota and Jamie didn't like each other in real life, but the truth was more complicated. In many interviews, Dakota admitted that they were very close, but that made the sex scenes all the more awkward, tense and not easy. "We had to trust each other 100% to get through each scene. But that doesn't mean it was easy. It was very isolating, very lonely at times." Jamie was a man who had a wife and children while filming, and this made intimacy on set have to be measured every inch. That close yet distant relationship left Dakota in a state of being forced to be intimate, but also unable to truly connect emotionally. A paradox that only insiders can understand. Excessive control from the production crew. Not only was there pressure from co-stars and audiences, Dakota also revealed an extremely controlled and inflexible filmmaking environment. "I couldn't be creative like a real actor. I had no right to decide how my character would feel." While the directors and producers argued and edited the script, Dakota, who directly played the role, was forced to follow rigid stereotypes. She described the feeling at that time as being controlled in her own role, something that the film unintentionally reflected in its content. A woman controlled by a man. Invisible scars. Years after the series ended, Dakota still carries the psychological consequences of that experience. She once confessed to having to undergo psychotherapy to regain her confidence and sense of self-control. However, instead of blaming or avoiding, Dakota chose to face and grow from those wounds. She continued to try her hand at roles that required strong inner strength and became one of the most independent, intelligent and courageous actresses of her generation. Conclusion. Behind the lights is a woman who bravely walked through fire. If Jamie Dornan is the image of mystery and power in 50 Shades, then Dakota Johnson is a symbol of sacrifice and silent endurance. A woman who is courageous and committed, but also full of hurt. The glory may come quickly, but the price Dakota has to pay, privacy, self-respect, and peace of mind, is what makes people think. Behind the camera, scenes that aren't as romantic as they look. The sex scenes in 50 Shades look soft and emotional, but in reality, they're torture. Not because of embarrassment, but because of the insensitive meticulousness of the filming process. Dakota once said, "I had to film in a state of near nude, tied up with real rope, on a set with dozens of people. And I had to act sexy but emotional. It wasn't easy." Each sex scene lasted for hours, sometimes 7 to 8 hours for a few short minutes on screen. Between the hot lights, the oppressive makeup, the constant cut, redo sounds, and the pressure to keep her body beautiful from every angle, everything seemed inhuman. Dakota had to maximize both her physical and mental strength, a kind of emotional sport that no one had taught her before. What did Jamie Dornan say? Professional respect, but not a real connection. Jamie Dornan, Dakota's co-star, has also defended her on many occasions. He called Dakota the most professional co-star I've ever worked with. But Jamie himself admitted, they have no romantic feelings for each other in real life. This creates an invisible distance. They respect each other, understand each other professionally, but cannot share their deepest hurts. This makes the love scenes, although seemingly intimate, essentially lonely and isolated. Jamie often goes home to his wife and children after each day of filming, while Dakota gnaws at the emptiness alone in her hotel apartment. She stays with the role while he returns to reality. Post-legacy. Crucified, but not buried. After 50 Shades, Dakota had to work many times harder to escape the bad girl label that Hollywood placed on her. There was a director who refused to give her a role just because she had acted in that movie. Many people said sarcastic things like, "What kind of actress, she only knows how to take off her clothes." But instead of screaming in protest, Dakota chose to stay silent and work. She participated in art films such as Suspiria, The Peanut Butter Falcon, Cha-Cha Real Smooth, until the complex role in The Lost Daughter. Each role is a rebirth, each project is a brick to rebuild her image. Now, Dakota doesn't need to prove anything anymore. She doesn't need to follow Hollywood, she creates a space for herself, both as an actress and a producer. Vision. The price of freedom in art is hurt, but it's worth it. Dakota Johnson is not a victim of Hollywood, nor is she a hero. She is a living proof that, in art, people may have to sacrifice their humanity to fully transform, but from there they grow. Dakota's courage, not in stripping, but in facing judgment, isolation, and misunderstanding, is evident in her bravery. In a world of entertainment where everyone is trying to control their image, she chose the most honest and painful way to grow up. Dakota's sacrifice and the image of modern women, quietly enduring, strongly moving forward. In modern society, women are no longer bound by aprons or kitchen corners, but they are bound by a new type of pressure, to be sexy, to be free, to be rebellious, but within the framework of a society that is still full of prejudice. Dakota Johnson became a representative of that type of woman. Dare to experiment, dare to express, dare to be scrutinized. But after all, still maintain the qualities of modesty, self-respect and self-control. She can act in bold scenes, but never indulge in a scandalous lifestyle. She quietly bears the price of artistic freedom, like a silent soldier on the cultural front, where women are both symbols and targets to be bombarded. Every time I step into that scene, I feel like I leave my soul behind the camera, Dakota shared. 50 Shades, a controversial work, but the clearest reflection of the nature of power and vulnerability. Some consider 50 Shades as sexualized trash, others consider it a manifesto of modern feminism. The truth? It lies in the middle. The film is a test of the boundaries between power and submission, between sex and love, and most importantly, between a man who wants to control, and a woman who accepts vulnerability to understand herself. Dakota Johnson not only plays Anastasia, she lives with Anastasia, experiences innocence, panic, rebellion and finally awakening. The character grows up, also Dakota grows up. The ending is not rosy, but it is a worthy ending. After many years, Dakota Johnson still maintains a calm, discreet appearance. She does not take advantage of the noise from 50 Shades to make quick money or become more famous. Instead, she built a solid image with quality, not gimmicks. She was selective about her projects, chose visionary directors, and created roles with depth. More importantly, she inspired many young actors. That you may have been defined by a role, but no one can stop you from rewriting your own story. Conclusion. The halo is not for the fragile, but for those who dare to be crushed. Dakota Johnson is a testament to a cold but great truth. You don't have to be loved by everyone, you just have to be steadfast in your values. She was hurt, misunderstood, and nailed to a sexy image that she did not actively choose. But she did not run away. Instead, she transformed the hurt into artistic strength, and quietly moved on. She did not become a box office queen, but became a symbol of resilience, intelligence, and the true art of living.